Hi everyone, my name is Yvan Garmy, and thanks so much for purchasing Don't Blink. I've had a lot of fun with this trick. I do it a lot, and I hope you enjoy playing with it, making it look great in front of the mirror, and then going out and performing it. Okay, and watch, I'm going to show you a quick trick using just a page from a magazine. And we're going to tear it down the middle once, and down the middle a second time, giving me 4 pieces, and once more, which gives me 8 pieces. And I want to watch closely because you can see all the torn edges across all the sides. And I'm going to try and line these up as nicely as possible. Okay, watch. 3, 2, 1. Just like that. All the pieces fuse back together, back into a single magazine. There are essentially 3 parts to the trick, or 3 pieces to make the trick work. There's your restoration packet, and you can recognize that pretty easily because it's the one with the full pocket here. It's the pocket that goes from edge to edge, right? That's your restoration packet. That's the packet that will be displayed to the spectators at the end. That's your first part. The second part is the gimmick, and this is the gimmick here, and that's going to help you do the restoration, and it's going to help you especially make the restoration visual. So that's the gimmick. And then we have the tear packet. So this is the tear packet, and the tear packet has only half a pocket here. As you can see, I have half a pocket like that, and this part is glued. So for the rest of the explanations, I'm going to be referring to these things as the tear packet, the restoration packet, and the gimmick. So you're going to take your restoration packet, you're going to put your gimmick on top as such, and you're going to insert it into your tear packet. And now you're ready to perform. So we're going to go into detail about how to make your tear packets, the restoration packet, and all the details you need to know for the handling. But I thought I'd start off by showing you a quick overview at how it all works. So here I have the pages that just got torn. And with the product came the gimmick. So this is the gimmick you have. And you'll notice this opening here. This is going to be very important. And the bottom flap is going to close and close with the magnet here, as such. And now the top flap is free to close as such. And as soon as we add the restoration packet in front, the illusion is going to come together, because now if I put this in front, it looks like I still have pages all the way across the top and all the way across the bottom here. And with just a shake, I can make it look like all the torn edges get fused together. And for the restoration, we're going to unfold the page, and everything's going to fall inside a pocket at the back. There, and actually here I have a pocket where the gimmick has fallen. So now we're going to go into details about the exact handling for the gimmick. So when you get the gimmick initially, you'll notice it closes in half as such, and it closes with magnets. However, the flap is going to be a bit stiff. That's just the way it is. And you're going to want to tire it down to make it easier to perform. It's just going to make your life a lot easier if you do this. So just fold it over and just kind of rub on the crease here and really tire out your page. And it should make it a lot easier to open and close. What you're going for, so do that with the bottom and the top one. And what you're going for is that with just a small shake, it should close, because that's going to be key for the restoration. So take your time and really kind of rub it in, get some fatigue bars into the page until you're happy that it's nice and easy to close. And don't worry about it looking creased here, because spectators will never see this, right? They'll only ever see the top and the edge of your gimmick, so it doesn't matter if it's folded in here. Okay, we're now going to make the tear packet, and what we're going to do is tear out the bottom half of the page. So So just to be clear, if this was a book, you'd open the book cover as such, and you'd read it this way, all the way through, and then this would be the back, and what we want is the back half of the page. So we're going to tear it out. Just like that. And we're now going to glue it on to another page, but you only want to glue half of it. So we're going to glue all of this, and it should be just less than half of the page. So I'm going to put glue here. And the reason you don't want to put too much glue is it's going to make it a lot harder to insert your gimmick afterwards. So less than half is the way to go. So I'm going to line up my page. Okay, and this side here, we're going to tape down because we want to win that extra space. Because if you were to glue here and here, you would lose about 1 centimeter or 2 centimeters of space, which is going to really shrink your pocket. So you want to tape it. And the way you tape it, is you're going to take a piece of tape, as such, and I'm going to lift up just the page that was glued on, right? So just the page that was glued on. I'm going to put the piece of tape down. I'm going to lay it flat, just like that. And I'm going to fold this on the inside. I'm going to fold it in, just like that. So it's now glued, it's taped here on the inside. So there's no tape showing, there's nothing that can shine or reflect against the light. It's really on the inside, completely hidden. And I'm going to do the exact same here. Take a piece of tape. Again, I stick it to my 2 fingers because it makes it a lot easier to do. Just line up the page, put the piece of tape down, and then fold it on the inside. You probably noticed my piece of tape doesn't go all the way down here, so there's a bit of a gap. But that doesn't matter because the gimmick can't fall out this way. It's just too big, so don't worry if you have a bit of a gap here. And that is all you need to know for the tear packet. We're now going to do the restoration packet. So similar to the tear packet, you're going to want to tear out the bottom half. So again, this is the cover. You would read it like this, and this is the piece we want to tear out. And for the restoration packet, we're going to glue it along the bottom here. So you're going to put glue the whole way. And don't be shy with the amount of glue you put on. And then you're going to line up the page here. And then you're going to line up your page as nicely as possible. It's worth taking a bit of time making your restoration packet because you can reuse it over and over again. So the tear packet obviously gets destroyed every time, but this one you can easily use it for 10, 15 performances before you have to make a new one. So really take some time, line it up nicely. And now we're going to tape the sides in. And the reason you don't want to glue the sides is you want to win that extra space, because if you were to glue it, you would lose space on both sides and it would make the moves a lot harder. So I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to line it up. So I'm going to lift just the page I've glued on, put the tape down, and I'm going to fold the tape on the inside. So there's nothing to see. The tape won't shine through because it's on the inside. And I'm going to do the exact same on the other side here. So I'm going to lift up just the top page. And I'm going to then fold it in. So again, just taping the extra piece to the back cover. There's nothing on the front, there's nothing that's going to shine through, it's just taped on the inside. We're now going to do a quick overview of the trick. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your restoration packet, which is, again, it's the full pocket here. So you can see it's the full pocket. And we're going to fold it up for performance. So you're going to bring the pocket up and mark the crease. And then you're going to fold it in half. as such. And now you're going to fold the top page back into a Z fold as such. So my page with the corners were there, and I folded it over, marked the crease, and now one last thing we're going to do is I'm going to fold this back. And that's all you need to do with your restoration packet as such. And we're going to then take the gimmick, we're going to put it on top, so on top of the restoration packet, and you're going to insert it into one of the tear packets, just as such. Okay, we're now going to go over the exact handling for the Don't Blink Torn and Restored magazine. So here I have my restoration packet, folded as we did before. Here I have my gimmick, which is going to go on top, and it's going to go on top of the small corner here. And the flaps are going to go this way on top of the zigzag. And now this entire thing is going to go inside my tear packet. So as you know, we have a pocket here. That's just half the width. So it goes inside the pocket that's half the width there. So that's your final setup. And you're going to hold it and display it like you would opening a book from the audience's point of view. So I'm going to open it this way, show the inside. And now I'm going to pivot and show it the other way. And as my hand comes towards the back, I'm going to cover this part here, just in case they can see the thickness. So there's nothing to see. On top of that, you're going to try and make the page look as loose as possible. And that's pretty easy because there's nothing here, and there's nothing all the way to here, and even the gimmick folds. So it's pretty easy to display the page and make it look light and flex it around like that. And here, behind my fingers, is the gimmick. So I've just displayed it, and now I'm going to close it. The packet goes behind again, and now I'm going to do the first tear. I'm going to tear down the middle. I'll try and keep the tear as straight as possible. That's not great, but it's not a huge deal if it happens. And now I'm going to put the torn piece in front, and turn sideways. I'm going to tear down the middle again here, and it's going to go in front of the gimmick all the way down. Tear down the middle, all the way down, and my torn pieces go in front again. And now I'm going to do the third tear. Again, it's going to go down the middle, and it's going to open the pocket as I do so. So I'm going to tear, and as you can see, it's naturally opened the pocket, which exposes the gimmick. I'm going to tear, and put everything in front once again. Now, because I didn't do the first tear very straight, I have a piece sticking out here. That's fine. I usually just poke it back in. You might have one here or sometimes along the top. I just poke it back in. It's perfectly fine. And now you've done this, you're going to remove your packet and the gimmick from the middle. In the action of saying, you can see all the torn edges across all the sides. And now I'm just going to put it behind as such. So one more time. This is inside the pocket. My thumb goes in. And it's going to go right here where I can contact both the page and the flap. So I hold everything in place here. I pull it out and put the pages behind. Now what's important is the pages are going to go slightly below. So you can see my gimmick is here and the pages are just a bit below. It doesn't have to be much, just slightly below the gimmick. Don't go this far, just a tiny bit. Right, so I'm there. And now is the only move in the actual trick, and that is I'm going to fold all the pages in half. To do that, I'm going to insert my thumb, again, where the hinge is here. It's very easy to find that, and fold the bottom flap closed. So without the cover page, so without the restoration packet, my thumb's going to go inside, it's going to contact this, and I'm going to fold everything over. And the other thing I do, so my thumb comes in, and I'm going to bring my hand up. And the reason for bringing your hand up is you don't want the audience to see this, right? So this would look a bit weird if they see this part folding over. So you're going to tilt back, which helps a lot already. And as I fold the pages, my hand comes over the top. So I'm hiding it there. So in motion, you can see all the torn edges across all the sides. I'm just going to straighten these up as nice as possible. And there I'm done. I've just folded all the pages as such. And this magnet here, as soon as I crease down there, it's going to lock in place. So I'm going to mark the creases here, which is very important, and here, which is also very important. You're also going to make sure that this top corner isn't in the way of the hinge, right? Or else it won't snap closed. So you want to make sure that this is out of the way of the hinge and this can close easily as such. So I've just folded my gimmick. I'm going to do it one more time just to show. So I'm here. I'm going to insert the thumb, mark the crease down here at the bottom, and then crease the top part. And now I'm ready for the actual restoration move. To do the move, I'm going to rock my wrist back about this far, and then I'm going to move this thumb of my left hand down a bit, like this, pulling the packet down. And with just a bit of inertia, it's going to close the flap, pull it down. Watch closely. I'm here, there. If I reopen it, there. So you can see, at this point, it looks like torn pieces. You want to pause, do 3, 2, 1, rock back, forward, and you're done. You'll notice my fingers here at the bottom are extended, and that's to hide this, because as you naturally move your thumb diagonally down, it's going to move it below the page, which is fine. You just want to have your fingers in the way, so you're blocking the view there. One more time. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to rock back to here, and then move the gimmick down with my thumb. It's not a difficult move, it just takes a tiny bit of practice. There. And that's the restoration. We're going to go over that once again over my shoulder, and then we'll talk about unfolding the magazine. Okay, we're going to go through all the motions again with the camera over my shoulder so you can see exactly what's going on. So I'm going to start by opening the magazine like a book from the audience point of view. So my right hand is going to come in front, and I'm going to open it up. And now with my fingers here, I'm going to cover the top of the tear pocket here as I display it this way. So the audience has now seen it every way around. I'm now going to close the magazine up, and I'm going to tear it down the middle once. Just like that. And the tear piece goes in front. And I'm now going to tear down the middle this way. Just like that. If you get weird pieces like this, you're going to fold them in as you readjust your page. Now I'm going to tear it down the middle here. Just like that. And again, the teared pieces go in front. I'm here. Now I'm going to display all the pieces to the audience while I maintain the gimmick and the restoration packet. So as you can see here, my thumb is going to hit this part, because then I can easily pull out both at the same time. So I'm here, and I'm going to say, you can see all the torn edges across all the sides, and I'm going to line this up here. If needed, I can push in the bigger pieces so they don't get in the way. And now my thumb's going to go into the small box there, and I'm going to fold the pages in half. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to push everything over and up. Again, you want to hit that box there. So I'm going to come in and come over with your hand So my hand comes like this and folds. It's just about the only move in the trick, and then you're done. So you're here. Now you're ready for the restoration. From the audience point of view, it still looks like you have all the torn pieces one behind the other, but you're ready to restore. A small tip is that you'll notice that my piece isn't straight like this. It's slightly inclined. And that is going to prevent you from pushing this out like this. And it also makes the move easier. So make sure you slightly incline the piece like this as it helps. For the restoration, you're going to rock your hand backwards, and then your thumb is going to go down. Again, I'm going to rock my hand backwards. So 1, 2, 3, and then you pause. Again, over here, 1, 2, 3, and you pause. We're now going to talk about unfolding the magazine. So you have your torn edges, you restore the magazine, and then you're going to open it up and show that it's completely restored, as such. Now, the opening of the magazine is just as important as the restoration, because I think a nice and loose opening really sells the restoration of the packet. So I'm here, I have my zigzag, and I have my folded corner here. That's very important. And as you now know, we are here in performance, which is here. So I'm here, and I've restored the magazine, and I'm now going to come in and pinch the corner. Pinch the corner, and I'm going to insert my 2 fingers, so pinch the corner there, and insert your 2 fingers inside and clip the gimmick. So I'm holding the page and the gimmick. If I remove the packet, it looks like this. I'm here, like this. And the first move I'm going to do is this. I'm going to turn the gimmick almost 90 degrees. It won't be quite 90 degrees. It'll be a bit like this, but it's going to turn sideways. So these 2 fingers are clipping, and these, I do 3 fingers here, are clipping and turning. At the same time, we're going to pinch your corner here, and you're going to unfold the Z, right? So your Z fold is going to go out. And if you do this together, as you can see, I'm going to turn the gimmick sideways, and now it's folded like this. So again, I'm going to be here, I'm going to come, it's going to be there. So I'm here, there. And the next step is going to be to release the pocket. So I go in, I clip the top, I pivot the packet, and naturally, because my hand is here, between the 2 pages, as soon as my left hand lets go, this page falls. And because there's nothing here, it gives a certain sense of lightness to the page, right? They can sense it's just a page. Boom. And now I'm going to insert the gimmick in the pocket. To do that, my left hand is going to open the pages here. So you can go from the top or from the bottom. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to feed the gimmick so into the pocket while I open the pocket here with my left thumb. So I'm going to go in, and now if I need to, I might catch here. So in this case, I will open the pocket with my left thumb as well on the way down. So all together, I'm going to be here, it's going to turn, it's going to drop. I'm going to open the magazine, I'm going to open the pocket with my left thumb at this point, and now I'm going to come down, kick this part open if needed. It might just go straight in which case you don't need to, but if it gets stuck, you'll hit it with your thumb, and then your right hand is going to come forward and open the magazine. And now you've shown the front, and you're now going to display the back. And to do that, all you're going to do is move your thumb onto the pocket here. So if your thumb is above, you're going to move it down there. And if it's a bit lower, again, you're going to move it around the crease there. And the other thing you're going to do is you're going to pull the page taut. And between the two, it's going to look like there's nothing there to be seen. Now you can fold up the magazine in half and in half. And if you want to, you can even fold it down a third time. Because the gimmick is a bar, technically it's only filling up the bottom half of the page. So you can fold it again here, and then you can put it in your inside vest pocket because it'll fit better than this, right? That's just an option if you want to. You can also just put this away in your case. Once the restoration is done, you're going to open the pocket. So you can see here, this is sticking out, and sometimes it might be here. In this case, it's out, that's fine. Either way, you're going to get the tab out, and then you're going to insert your 2 fingers here and clip the gimmick and the top page. And then we're going to pull this out, and at the same time, we're going to rotate the gimmick. And it's going to look like this. I'm here. One more time. And because my hand is in here, I'm in perfect position to drop the front pocket here. As you can see, the pocket is now right below where it needs to be. And this hand is now free. And I'm going to start to open the magazine here. And I'm going to then push the gimmick inside the pocket as this hand opens up the magazine. And now I'm going to regrip with my thumb, as you just saw me do. And I'm going to pull the magazine taut and display this side to the audience. So one more time, I'm going to show you the load into the pocket again. So starting from here, you'll be there, sorry. You'll go in, you'll open it up, and now, as you can see here, I have 3 fingers there, and this hand is here. As soon as my left hand lets go, it falls down, I open the magazine, I pull this into the pocket, I open it up and show everything to the audience. I regrip with my thumb to clip the pocket closed, and I show it around. Now, I can either put this in the case directly, or if you're working without a case, you can also fold it over one more time and put it in your inside vest pocket so it doesn't take up too much space. So we've gone through the handling, and as you've seen, I did the handling with my left hand, and most people I've seen do the trick with their left hand. It just seems natural to do the move with your left hand. However, some of you might want to do it with your right hand, in which case you're going to slightly change the fold. So if I was to fold it like we did before, I'm going to fold it in half. And then I'm going to fold it in half again. The left-handed fold would be to have the corners to the left and to fold this back as such, just like what we did before, and fold back the corner. That's what we did earlier on. What we're going to do now, if you want to do it with your right hand, is to turn the packet over. So now my corners are all here pointing to the right. I'm going to fold the zigzag the other way. And this is the only difference that you're going to have, is that instead of folding just one page, because these are the corners, you're going to fold the top 2 pages. As such. Now the gimmick is going to go pointing this way with the flap here, and you're going to insert everything in your tear packet. The handling itself is going to be basically the same all the way to the end, except at the end you'll be holding it with your right hand. You're going to fold over the pages with your left hand, and you'll be in this position. And now we're back exactly to the same place we covered before. So with the product, you have 20 spare pages you can tear. However, you can also do the trick with any magazine you want. It really doesn't matter. The only thing to check is that the pages are tearable, because some advertising magazines especially are plasticky, and if you try to tear them, you'll see they don't tear properly. So you can use any bifold. It can be a leaflet, it can be a magazine, it can be any size really. As long as I said, it's tearable, it should be fine. Thickness wise, I prefer slightly thin pages. So like the ones you've received, thin to medium thin pages, but you can do it technically with even the cover of a magazine, which is a lot thicker, and that'll work fine. It'll add a bit of thickness to the gimmick and a bit of bulk to the pocket at the back, but it should work fine as well. And you can also use different sizes of magazine. The only thing you want to check is that your gimmick is always slightly smaller than a quarter of a page. So let's say you use a different magazine size. Just take your gimmick and then make sure that your gimmick is just smaller than a quarter, right? Just about smaller than the quarter. If you have a smaller page, you can trim off a small piece from your gimmick, so either from the bottom here or from the side. You just want it to be slightly smaller rather than slightly bigger. On the other way around, if you have a page that's bigger and a gimmick that's smaller, that's fine. There's nothing to worry about there. Okay, we're going to go through some troubleshooting. These are questions you might have when you start playing around with the trick. So here I have a representation of what the gimmick looks like on the inside. It's not made with exactly the same materials because these are made with slightly more durable materials, but essentially the idea is the same. You have 4 magnets here, and these magnets are going to close and hold the pieces in place. So if I was just to add a piece here, so you would have 8 pieces in total, this would fold over and lock all 8 pieces in place. And then this is going to flap over for the restoration. Now this gimmick here is exactly the same thing, except it has a magazine on top, basically for camouflage. So if spectators by chance see this gimmick, it looks like just a torn piece. As you use the gimmick over time, you might start seeing the page getting damaged here a bit. So for example, it might peel here. Probably what's going to happen is you're going to get damage around here because that's the part that moves the most. And the reality is, don't worry about it too much because spectators don't really see this piece. So there's no reason kind of to fuss about it. However, if it does get very damaged and you want to change it, you can just peel off the page, you can scrape off all the bits, and then you can just glue another piece back on just with some regular glue stick. And then just glue it back on, really press it down on both sides, and then you'll want to tire down the gimmick again like we did at the very beginning, because the paper is what adds stiffness to the flap. So again, you'll want to close it and tire down the gimmick to make sure that it's nice and loose and closes easily. The other reason you might want to remove the page is if you want to perform with a different type of magazine. So here, for example, I have some Lidl magazines. These would be perfect to perform with, and they're the right size as well. And the only thing is, as you can see, the color scheme is very different. They're very into vibrant colors, and so what you'd want to do is peel off the page, cut out a quarter of a page here, and glue that back on. So then this would be in the same color palette as what Lidl has. And you'll also see that some magazines are a bit bigger, especially the ones you'll find in mainland Europe. So this would be a magazine that I got from France, and you'll see it's bigger here than the one you have here. And so my gimmick naturally is a bit shorter than this page. And in that case, you can still make it work fine. All you have to do is just take a piece of tape. I just use packing tape here. And you're going to extend your gimmick along the bottom. So again, peel the paper off, and then you're going to extend your gimmick along the bottom. So just measure it out correctly. That is just about right. Then you'll tape it all the way around as such. And then you would take a quarter of a page and glue it on. And the reason you're doing that is if you have just the paper sticking out at the bottom, it's going to get damaged a lot quicker. So this will just add a bit of durability to your bigger gimmick. So that's an easy thing you can do there. Now, another thing you might have noticed is the sound. You can probably hear it because we're in a quiet studio at the moment. And again, I recommend not worrying about it. Firstly, when you have your pages, so you'll have 8 pieces of paper, it's going to naturally dampen the sound. So I can show you again here. This would be folded over here. And already you can see it's much quieter, so you can barely hear it. However, if you're kind of doing a studio video, maybe it's for social media or something, and you want it to be dead quiet, what you can do is add a small piece of electric tape here. So you can even put 2 layers of electric tape on top of the magnet there, and that's going to finish dampening the sound. And then the only noise you'll hear will be the friction of the paper. Okay, we're going to very quickly talk about ditching the gimmick. So obviously when you finish performing, it's going to be inside the pocket, and the easiest thing to do is simply fold the magazine in half and put it in your case. And that's what I do 95% of the time. However, sometimes for some shows you might want to finish clean, right? You might want to be able to immediately hand out the magazine to the spectators. So what you could do here is, once you've torn the magazine and you've done the restoration, so your packet is here, instead of having a packet on this magazine, you can have, so nothing, just a normal sheet, and then you're going to restore it. As we did before, the piece is going to fall down, but instead of going in the pocket, you're just going to hold it. And you're going to hold it in place, and then as you come in front of the table, this could be your case, it could be a servante, you can just ditch the gimmick. And the best cover for that is to grab something else. So you'd be here, I'd be here, and then my left hand would be free, and let's say I'm going to pick up the pen from the table, and I would drop the gimmick. And then you end up with a completely clean and examinable magazine. And one last troubleshooting bit is when you're restoring the magazine. So as I said, your thumb here is going to open the pocket here, and then it's going to feed in. Now sometimes it gets stuck there, as you can see, exactly like that. And then the easiest is to open here with your thumb. Now when you start off, you might find that a tiny bit tricky to do. Very quickly you'll get the knack of it. It's not a difficult move. However, to make it a bit easier, what you can do is add a piece of tape on the inside here. So as you can see, here's my crease that naturally occurs when I folded the gimmick. This crease here, if you open it up, you'll see is there. And I'm just going to add a piece of tape on the top of the flap here. So it goes on the top. And now I'm going to crease the tape and mark the fold here. Just like that. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bit of space inside the pocket. And that's going to make your life a lot easier, because now you can pull a lot harder on this corner without it tearing. So you can really just come down and hit the corner. And then airing out the pocket at the start is also going to really help opening the pocket as you restore the page. Because you've aired it out already, it's going to open up easier on both sides here. So thanks so much for watching. That was a lot of information, so it takes some time to go through it maybe again and again and make sure you get all the subtleties and understanding the folds and how it unfolds and so on. And I hope you have fun with the trick. It's a lot of fun to perform. It's a lot of fun to play with. It looks great in front of the mirror. There's so much to do with it. So I hope you enjoy it. And thanks so much for purchasing the project again. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. So my name is Yvan Garmy, and you can also reach out directly to Vanishing Ink. Thanks again.